I have a lot of knowledge to share within this interview, and let's get started. There's a big difference between UGC, user-generated content, versus influencer partnerships. With the UGC people, they want it exactly the way they want it, versus the influencer, where we're just allowed to be ourselves, use our time correctly. Sometimes social media does mess up. Sometimes Instagram says we are looking for 100 people to engage with their post in this time frame of an hour. No one did it. So we're not gonna boost your post purposely, versus 50 people at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning will engage with that post, and Instagram will be like, you know what? During this time, everyone's at work. We haven't had a much engagement as a whole. We'll reward you. And social media does reward you on how much.
Welcome to our Afluencer podcast. We have a return guest and a special treat for our brands, especially those of you who are new to influencer marketing. You've tried Google Adwords and it's too expensive, or Google's kind of gone crazy in recent weeks and months here with their new algorithms. Facebook ads are expensive, so we turn to influencers and especially micro-influencers. But when we're new to it, we're not sure where to start. So we've got a real treat. We've got a micro-influencer, really a top-line micro-influencer. I mean, more, basic influencer, creator, does it all, kind of a renaissance man. Wears many hats. So we bring in VERSEatyle back to the podcast, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about in terms of followers, engagement, what's going on, what he's seeing working in social media, what's working for the collabs that he's doing with brands. We got a lot to cover. VERSEatyle, welcome. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for coming back on the podcast.
How's it going, Brett? Hey, hello to Afluencer. Thank you for growing me to this point. I have a lot of knowledge to share within this interview, and let's get started.
Yeah, I can't wait. I was looking at your profile, influencer profile, where you might be the GOAT at this point with the number of collabs and number of brands that you've worked with. And I mentioned, I see it come up when I'm talking. I'm doing my calls with our newer brands and walking through, and you're already working with them and helping them kind of along that process. So it would be great to hear just what you're seeing today in terms of the inner workings of social media. What is, you were early on the scene with the videos. You saw that coming ahead of time, the reels, and that's where Facebook and Instagram in particular, right? They put a lot of their algorithm effort, just like, hey, we're going to promote the reels so we can catch up with TikTok, that type of thing. What do you see today? What are the new trends? What is working for you in terms of the collabs that you're working on with brands? Just what's new in VERSEatyle's view in the trenches there where you are?
Yeah, right. There's a lot to touch on, so I can talk very fast. I'm gonna try to start very slow pace because there's so much I want to bring up. I have a whole list of things right here, so I'll try to start one by one. One of the biggest things I noticed over time is there's a big difference between I'll start with UGC, user-generated content, versus influencer partnerships. So with this, I noticed with the UGC people, which I was also talking about leading up into the AI. If I'll put it like this, them versus brand partnerships, if UGC had if those deals had an opportunity to hire an AI assistant instead of a regular person, they would, because all they want is just pretty much a scripted thing of everything that they demand within that video. They want it exactly the way they want it. It doesn't matter what your influence is, really. And pretty much they can keep doing a bunch of revisions as much as they want, versus the influencer, where we're just allowed to be ourselves, use our time correctly. And that's a big thing I want to bring up in this conversation this time. How creators, pretty much you're kind of at the crack of the whip to be creative at when you're supposed, there's not enough time that's really given. Let me word this carefully. When it comes to being artistic, sometimes it does take a while to get that right creation made. And with artists, from Leonardo da Vinci and all the important people that came up, they took not their time, but they used their time wisely. So to the brands, some of them I worked with, some of them don't understand the timing or the timing that is needed to utilize to create these things. Some of them just see influencers as just the UGC product, where do it right now, you're my robot, I said this script, it should be easy, have this done in 2 hours. Sometimes this stuff takes 6 hours to really even get to conjure up even the attitude to have the right persona to like smile and everything. Sometimes it does take longer than that. The average person is like, even people that I know personally, some of them don't even have the courage to even show their face on the camera for 2 seconds. So it really does take a lot of confidence and skill to know what you're doing, how you're doing it. And I guess I'm just getting all this to say, yeah, a lot of this does take time. So on both ends too, even for the brands, for the influencers, I noticed there's a lot of other influencers that like, I've had to talk to brands and they haven't really delivered their work. And the brands are like asking, they already paid them up front. So like other influencers, that makes me look bad, or not me look bad, but I'm like, they have like a false perception that I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm like, no, I get my work done fast. You've seen my track record on influencer. I at least try to get it done as fast as possible, or at least be communicative. Or
yeah, you have the only that I've seen 100% response time within 24 hours. You respond into every single message, which I know are hundreds or maybe even thousands of messages within 24 hours. I was just looking at that before we came on. So I gotta give you credit. That's the most responsive. That's the GOAT in terms of responsiveness.
Okay.
So we back up a sec, VERSEatyle, just so I can break it down for our brands who kind of come in, because I think it's good that you're doing this distinction, because a lot of people had this term. It was being used synonymously. That you had UGC or user-generated content, and it was being used synonymously with, hey, I want to work with an influencer, and that's how I'm going to get the UGC, because I'm going to say, hey, I want VERSEatyle using my product, and then you're going to post something. And usually in UGC, they're looking for, right, they want access to the video so they can repurpose it and that type of thing. And that's interesting to hear that the requirements are that specific, because it's always been my inclination, what influencers I've worked with, and we've worked with you also, is that you're the creator.
Yes.
I have a website, I have an app, and you do the rest. Right, so you go ahead, you do it. You use.
I know my audience. I know what works. I know what's best for what I'm in control of. That's what I'm saying. For UGC people, there's been a lot of quite a few brands that gave me not attitude but misunderstandings of like what's expected. I'm like, oh, you should have said that in the beginning. That way, I could have followed your guideline. Because some people will give influencers like, hey, you do it like this, but do it your way. I'll do it my way. But then for some people, they don't want it my way. They want it specifically done, like UGC. So I feel like that's another cool specific thing to bring up nowadays with influencers when it comes to like UGC. And I feel like that falls under the affiliates role. Like you're here to do this and that, and that's it. Like don't do anything extra. We'll take care of the rest of the editing because we have more back end that we know about that you don't know about. So that was just one thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, that's a great distinction. So what are you seeing in terms of differences in the engagement on a post that you do and you put on your creator hat and you take start to finish versus, and I don't know if you are posting UGC stuff on your own feed, but if you are, what is the difference in engagement between your typical post, or even, I know your reels are very popular, versus your UGC content?
I like this comment because this goes under the AI subject I want to talk about soon, but people nowadays, as much as they're on their phone scrolling, they're not stupid. They know whether it's an ad or not. They know whether they're actually going to like that. They know whether you're trying to sell them something. So with UGC, there's a lot of scripts that they follow. And a lot of these people are using AI to get these scripts. So the more robotic, the more non-organic, the less people are actually going to actually tune in with you, like, oh, he's just doing a job rather than entertaining me. And on social media, you're either entertaining somebody or someone needs help or there's trauma, which falls under entertainment. But you get what I'm getting at. Like, there's only a few things that we actually follow people for. And if you're falling out of course and you're just doing a regular ad, like a commercial, that's fine. Because some people, I've gotten sales for people because I'm just doing that type of style. But I mean, if you're trying to get viral, or not get viral, but get your product out there, which a lot of beginning brands tend to do because they just see the results on Google. They say, oh, if I give this product and this money to that person, it'll grow and it's end all be all. It's like, no. Like, we have to do our job. That's why we're influencers, because we gain some type of viral point where people wanted to pay attention to what we had in our possession, but the way we did it, not how someone told us to do it. So both ways are good, but it's preferred that the creator actually does what they're good at in creating. But there is it's always recommended that you can give them guidelines, like, well, as a brand, can you at least kind of implement this into your stuff? That's always good. But there's just certain UGC brand that's just like, we want this and that's it, and that's like, you're gonna get less results, and don't be surprised like if your reel is only getting like 4,000 views versus the other views that I did previously and they're like 12K. It's like, well, how come this is a lot? Like, well, because it's more entertaining to people versus me just doing, hey, I'm another face, like Master just blurred right here, I'm just another face, here's a product, buy it. People don't just buy it like that. Not even back in the days when we just had commercials. Like, that just repetition. If you keep seeing me do that over and over within a month, you start thinking about it. That's how it works, especially with multiple ads and stuff. But just one ad, one end, like one cure-all, be-all, that's not gonna usually work. You'll get a few sales, but not as much as you think.
Yeah, great point on the touch points also, because that was, I mean, when I started learning marketing a billion years ago, that was the thing, right? It was 7 touch points, 13 touch points. You got to hit them direct mail, like you said, right? So you got to hit them from different angles. Everyone today online is, we want everything. What's your cost per conversion? So everyone's looking at it in terms of like a one hit. And the thing is, and I know this from our AdWords campaigns, I've turned most of our AdWords stuff off except for our own brand. So we want to defend Afluencer, and other people bid on it, so we defend it there. But in terms of just keywords, you're always spending like $3 to make one. It doesn't really work anymore. You can get a little bit of traction that way. But I thought it's an interesting analogy you made with the scripted videos, because if now you're just pulling those economics over and you're saying, well, we might get a few sales, it might break even, but we're not getting that asymmetric return we're looking for. We're looking for to spend $1 and make 10, or if you do a reel and we invest with you, we want to make a multiple of that. We want that thing to move viral, because we're kind of spreading and we're working, of course, with many different micro influencers. What we're doing is we're putting educated bets on the table, and then we want some viral type returns, right? That's why we're doing this versus AdWords, which is a dead zone, and Facebook, which is fine, but it's just going to be too expensive from what these ads are going to cost. So what do you think about follower count? Let's get into maybe that follower count, that engagement part, right? Since we're already talking about that. So that's, I know, something I think people are starting to learn, right? Okay, so we got the, what does it cost to work with someone with 50,000 followers? I said, well, look, let's first figure out whether we want to work with that person. So take us through that, VERSEtyle, the engagement versus the follower count, and how those work together.
Okay, so this is a very interesting one. So, because I've had a few brands, especially from Afluencer, which I understand why it's there and everything, but I understand why it's not fully accurate. So, for example, some people will say, if you like, okay, the computer data will say you only have a certain amount of percentage of engagement, and then I'll be like, okay, no, I understand. Can you please show me one of the influencers that you see that is working, and I'll gladly show the difference of what's going on. And they'll show me somebody. Sometimes they won't even respond, but the few people that try to say like, okay, I'm curious, then they show me somebody. Sometimes they don't, they see accounts, but they don't understand the inner workings of social media, as in there's so many outlets to get certain type of comments, like just a heart comment, and you get the same heart comment from 10 other people, and you click on the account and it's not even anyone that's trying to do anything. No job, is just an account with one picture. Like, they don't know these services are out there. What else I want to get at? Oh, the percentage, let's say, like, if they look on the site that has like the engagement chart that says this percentage versus this percentage of person, for example, someone with 300 followers, right, can go on the site and say I have 300 followers, and 200 of them always pull through, and that means on the percentage part, their engagement's gonna look like 80%, 90%, since we're like, a lot of them are there. But if you compare that to someone who says, maybe I have 30,000 followers and 1,000 of them pull through, maybe not the other 10%, but the 1,000 pull through, that same calculation is going to give that person a very low percentage. But the engagement part, when you look at the comments, there's people that actually talk on this one versus this one, and you know what I mean? There's like a number.
Yep.
It throws everything off in my opinion, from what I've seen. Because then I've been looking for other people, and there's been some good. Don't get me wrong, there's been good examples, but they don't fully fulfill what I'm trying to see. And that's another. One of the biggest subjects I wanted to get apart about this is the inner workings of social media. Sometimes it's not even the influencer or the brand or the video. Sometimes social media does mess up. Like, say if you post at like 6 o'clock, it's not even the video is bad. It's not even anything. Sometimes Instagram says, "Oh, we are looking for 100 people to at least like your." Let's just take an example, not literally, but we're looking for this much people to engage with your post in this time frame of an hour. No one did it, so we're not gonna boost your post purposely. Versus sometimes 50 people at maybe 8 o'clock in the morning will engage with that post, and Instagram will be like, "You know what? During this time, everyone's at work. We haven't had a much the engagement as a whole. Will reward you." And social media does reward you on how much other people's posts you like. They reward you how much times you watch a video full. They're looking for bots to not give engagement to, and they're looking for real people to give engagement to. And they know the difference. Like, Instagram's been here, Meta's been here, they've all been here for years, so they know people. They know us like the back of our hand, believe it or not. Damn near, not all the way, but yes, I just wanted to point that out because I've seen other I'm in other influencer groups that they talk about like, "Dang, I have 100K followers, but I'm only getting 1%." And I'm like, with me, I have like, why? For me, I'm like, I have more than that, but it's because we have different ways that we market. Like, I do it constantly, or they do it bulk, but they're on a different platform. It's just different ways. So it's like things I wanted to look into. Sometimes I just came to a conclusion. Sometimes it's just the apps. Sometimes you have to post more than one promotion. It might not be the first or the second or the third, but the fifth one, that might be the one that like, and there you go. That was the thing you were trying to achieve the whole time. But I guess goes back to, you're not always going to get that because it's not even because of anyone's fault. It's just the app itself.
Yeah, I gotcha. So the case for doing maybe multiple campaigns or videos,
So a lot.
multiple shots at it.
Especially if you're in a specific niche, the same post those 5 times. And it's like, okay, these same people keep liking these type of posts. What if we took the same person who likes the same stuff, with this person that likes the same stuff, and then we'll keep sending the, you know what I mean? That's how the algorithm works, rather than, oh, everyone keeps skipping this. We won't show it to nobody. It'll just be dead. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. So where, if we use like Instagram as an example, where specifically is the outlet that would cause something to go viral? Is it the search that's kind of showing you the new stuff? Where I've noticed I'll see videos that are old, but that's, it's being shown there. So yeah, where does this stuff show up? Or is it showing up in someone's feed and they may not necessarily even follow? Because that's where I find it interesting. Like if you post something, let's say I don't follow you, I do, but let's say I didn't, and I saw one of your videos because Instagram thought, hey, he's posting about Bret Hart. You're gonna have to see this, right? Right?
Yeah.
Where does that go? Is that going in my feed, or is that going in the search? Or is that going both?
Like, sometimes, I don't know how often you use, like, even TikTok. I don't know how TikTok works, but I know on Instagram, sometimes I'll scroll and it'll be sponsored at the top, but it'll be something that's interested in, like, actually do like, and that's how pretty much what we're trying to do, or like, not where, but the brands and the influencers, you're trying to get the new users to be like, I didn't know, I don't know this person, but I like this thing, let me follow. You do that with sponsored ads, and algorithm will be like suggested for you. Sorry.
Okay, I have noticed that. Yeah, suggest, right? But it's in the main. Talking Instagram, it's in the main. I think TikTok just shows them, right? But Instagram, I saw it suggested for you. And they're
Instagram niche. They're doing that, but TikTok's like the king of just scrolling left and right through random stuff. Like, they're number one. But Instagram does it too, but it's not as it's more, I feel like they're more algorithm based versus TikTok. TikTok, you can kind of like go outside of your algorithm sometimes, but
okay. Do you often post to both platforms? If you do a video, are you posting it to Instagram and TikTok, making the tweaks and then putting it on both?
Yeah, if it's requested. Like, usually and that's on me though. I need to branch out. All this stuff about TikTok's about to end. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't want to put energy or like pick a dead horse. I don't know if like I should just only focus over here on YouTube, and I need to get on YouTube more, but that's one big one. But yeah, like YouTube and Instagram and stuff, I don't know if I should put my full focus, but I mean, so far it's been good with what I've been doing. I've grown so much since when I started. I never knew I'd get to this point, and still rising with more, like as far as like financially, like okay, and like that was like my biggest one. But but like even knowing all these other brands, knowing how business works, even talking with you, being confident. I used to be so shy when I was young. I couldn't do this. Like now, look at me, I'm like, damn. So yeah, but sorry to go off topic, but
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's awesome, and also see you know, just get your continue to get your business going. It's been great.
Any questions you have? I want to make sure if there's any way I can help while I have all the game in the world. If you have anything, ask me. Yeah, I got you.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. Let's talk, and you brought this up. Let's talk about the celebrity versus micro influencer thing, because this is, I think, historically something that in the early days gave influencer marketing a bad name, because all influencers are basically just celebrity. I mean, we're going back almost 10 years now, right? When a celebrity was quote unquote an influencer, and then people would pay a lot of money to have a celebrity do a pay-per-post. And then lo and behold, it wouldn't really sell, or they had kind of no chance, right, to deliver a return on your investment when you're paying someone, even today, right, if you're paying a celebrity $1 million a post, that's going to be very hard to get a return there. And a lot of it is because of the relevancy, right? So maybe you follow a celebrity because you just follow them and they've got 1 million followers, but they're not necessarily connected with them. And that's something that we want to try to educate our brands, like, hey, the micro influencers are just the best value today, and people like yourselves, like you've got awesome scale also. So not only do you have this organic following base that you've cultivated over the years and grown, but these you've got serious reach also. So that's where the party's at. That's what I tell her, like this is the ROI. Just micro influencers all day long, and just find people for your specific niche. So in your experience, what is that difference between the celebrity and the micro?
The funny part is, that's what's like the cool part. You would think a celebrity, and don't get me wrong, a lot of them do with the it goes back with how the inner workings of social media works. You would think that A plus B equals C, but in this scenario, it's like, oh, like for example, Snoop Dogg did a promotion recently with the smokeless pit, but it didn't really get any sales.
Yeah,
So it might not have been his fault. It might have been just a combination, but partially maybe that might have made people mad. Like, oh, this is just, I pointed earlier, this is just another ad. Never mind. You didn't really get me with the experience. And you're not smoking. I'm a smoker. Everyone loves him for smoking. So that's like against his brand and everything. So it's like you expect him, just because he has numbers of following, you would expect maybe people didn't even like the post because they felt like, oh man, I'm not gonna like this because I don't like that he did that. And there's lower engagement. But you don't expect that because it's Snoop Dogg. He has millions, versus a micro influencer who has posted this, has showed like some type of love for this, and like they actually utilize this in their daily lives and give more detailed love for it. And people like that ad, like say if they, like how I do, I use that as a sponsored ad to people who actually like the niche, and then it'll go to them. Now you actually have people that at least you might get 10 sales versus no sales just because somebody has a large following. So
yeah, it's a really interesting example. I've got the solo stove in my backyard, and when the campaign came out, I thought, geez, that's genius. Like they're talking to me. Like just listen to Snoop Dogg in the car. I got the solo stove in the backyard. I'm like, this is genius.
He had it though, correct?
That's true. I already had it. And and then I got it because of a recommendation. So your point, VERSEtyle, like it's because you always want, and I say this to like, if someone's got a pet brand, right? I'm like, you got a dog product. You want someone with their dog all over their Instagram feed, because it's like dog, and you're selling this dog, right? It's the same, maybe the solo stuff, right? You don't want Snoop. You want the person who's doing the backyard stuff, and it's aligned, right? With
or even it goes back to like the inner workings of social media. If you know how someone knows how to go to the meta, you don't just do the boost post on Instagram. Someone that knows how to go to the metadata on Facebook, go to that exactly, use those funds to use it towards Instagram and those ones. If you know somebody even knows how to market correctly, they don't even have to fully be involved in the niche. Like for me, I've helped multiple companies, like some of them are business based. I'm doing two giveaways, and one of them is insurance. or not the giveaways, but just the post. But it's just I angle all the ads towards insurance and business versus someone who does business, but they also have other people who likes pets, other people who like toys, other people that's following them, looking at it, not relating. So it also depends. It goes back to the inner workings of social media. Make sure they have a niche, like that's very important too, and make sure they know how to gear that post towards the right people versus like anybody out there who might not care, kind of.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. Yeah. It's like just
They both go hand. Yeah.
right. Any market, right? You want it's all specificity. You want it to be as specific as you can. I mean, that's why AdWords works, because you've got someone looking for a keyword and you can bid on that keyword. Problem is, it just got so freaking expensive because everyone does it. So there's no value there. Where today the value is you've got this unlimited type of content being created out there with influencers and all that reach. And the key is to like find the lane, right? With the micros that you need to be partnering with. What else do I need to ask you? I got to ask you, what should our brands, and I'll get you out of here, by the way. I could talk to you all day on this one, but maybe we'll get you out of here on this one. What should our brands who are new to influencer marketing, experienced to marketing, but new to influencer stuff, what's kind of like the top 3 or 5 things that they need to keep in mind, think about as they're getting into and let's just frame it micro influencer world, because that's where they should be getting started with micro influencer marketing.
So I will repeat that. Are you talking? You said
if you do a great job of this, like advising the brands who are new to the space, right?
Oh, brands, okay, just brands.
Right. Yeah. So if you're talking to brands who are in, and maybe you're working with them, or maybe you're just, let's think of it, you're like the consultant over their shoulder, and you're helping them.
Right.
Here's the micro. Here's how you're going to work with.
Okay, I got you.
What do they need to do? What's important in your experience?
Like any other customer, like I'd be any other subject. You'll know someone knows what they're talking about by the amount of data they give you and the amount of communication they give you, rather than maybe like not really giving you too much information on what's going on. They'll provide things that before you even mention it. Like for me, I like to say, or I like to provide an invoice before I get paid to do anything, so they know like, oh, okay, if you were just trying to scam me or get over on me, you wouldn't have done anything. You would just got my money and ran off. But the fact you already put in some type of work to show that you care, like you already gave me the invoice, and I always ask for their email, I always ask for their logo, always ask for their company Instagram. Also, okay, I can only look at it for myself. So if I was a brand looking at me, it looks like, okay, he's already at you're caring about the brand rather than just answering my question. You're like asking me about me. You're having interest versus just giving me a cold, like, oh, I have a fancy mirror. Oh, I'm an influencer. Oh, guys. Oh, hey. Oh, yeah, I have this product. Like, it's more than that. Like, those are the influencers. I don't want to hurt people's money. I don't want to hurt people's money, but those are the ones. It might work. I don't know. I don't know that nature, but my form of knowing that influencers good is the amount that they show that they care about your brand personally. And they're professional.
Yeah.
All of them.
That's great. That goes back to ties back to what you said earlier. You want the creativity. You're taking time. You're getting your head around this thing, and that doesn't just come by looking at the website product or if the product's being shipped to you. You still got to think about how you're organically going to incorporate it into your everyday life, right? So that you can legitimately say, "Hey, this is how I'm using the solo stove in the backyard," right? Instead of just
And then also I want to point out on the flip side for influencers, you're working with a good brand is my thing is just being responsive. Everyone's busy. You have to know when you're like too fast sometimes, and that's something you and I had to learn. Like, okay, let me calm down a little bit. And I did get over like the last 2 years. The first like 2 years I was like, I'm like that, but I'm like, hold on, not everyone's like that. So, but for like for influencers towards brands to know you're working with a good brand, for me, just personally, I noticed they put their personality in their text, but still talking about business. There's been people that's vulgar, but they're really straight to the point about their business. There's been people that's very nice, but they're still straight to the point about their business. But there's been people that they want you to do it what they requested you to do, and you'll be compliant and you'll do everything, but they won't really. They'll be, oh, thank you for this revision after you fix it 2 times the content that they requested from you, for example, and they won't get back for you for like 2 weeks. Those are the people, those are the same ones for some odd reason that they say, oh, I'll work with you again. I'm like, I don't know if I'd work with you again.
Not sure it's mutual.
But like, yeah. So I mean, so for both sides, how they relate is communication. Just communicate with each other. And then you'll realize you guys are both alike in very similar ways. You guys are both different businesses that's just trying to be seen. Everyone's just trying to get some type of outcome out of this, whether it be money or nonprofit, but you're both on the same mission and understand each other. Even if you don't really communicate well, even if this person's from China and not from the US, there's always some type of like human similarity that we're both trying to get at with what we're talking to each other, or else we wouldn't be doing it at all. So,
yeah, great point.
Humble,
right.
And don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, end of the day, we're all the same, and then not only here, but we got the common goals, right? We're both trying to collab, right?
Yeah, like we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Yeah, like you have a business right now. I wouldn't be here. Even for me, I'm a very appreciative person, so I like seeing another like influencer go up in the ranks. Like there's a big 3 I have from my influencers, and if you're an influencer watching this, get ready. So it's influencer. If you're just getting started, they are the perfect one right here. Number 2, Collabster. They care about the influencer because they'll, when it comes to finance or if you have a dispute and the brand, they take care of both you guys, and they're the middleman of everything you're paying. So that's fair. And the third one is Social Cat. If you're ready to go, like get ready, but like at the same time still do like you have to know what you're doing with them. But those are like the big 3. And the last one I'd like to shout out is Gumdrop, because they're like the miscellaneous cool ones that they're easy to work with, but yeah, I don't know how they accept people, but yeah, respect your this for my influencers. Be sure to respect all your do good business with all these influencer platforms, because a lot of us wouldn't be here without them. What else? Beware of the one more thing before we go. Beware of the AI influencer coming up in a few years, where we'll just have an AI person looking like us to do these skits for these UGC people that don't even need us. That's less money, that's less business, that's more competition, and beware that it is going to come someday, maybe not now. And even if it does come soon, it's not going to be very complete. It's going to have like a lot of like things that has to fix, but it's coming. So prepare your craft now and enjoy what you're doing. Have fun overall.
Well, thanks so much for selling. How can people find you and follow you online?
Instagram.com/VERSEatyle, VERSEatyle. You can also find me on Spotify, the same name, VERSEatyle. You can find me on YouTube, the same name, VERSEatyle. Apple Music, the same name, VERSEatyle. And and
that's okay. It's a tough platform. You're okay. Yeah.
I tell you, all platforms you get it. And thank you, influencer, for everything. And yeah, wish everyone a good day.
Excellent. Thank you, VERSEatyle. Appreciate you again for joining again.
Everyone have a good one. Thank you.